7:45, and I am calling this meeting to order. The first thing I would like to do is read a vote we usually don't make. Here goes. Janet Woody would like to attend today's Library Board of Trustees regular meeting via electronic communication means, which complies with the Richmond Public Library Governance Policy 4.12. This policy is to comply with regulations of section 2.2-3708.2, parent C, parent closed, parent 1, parent closed, of the Code of Virginia to allow for and govern participation by one or more Library Board of Trustees in meetings by electronic communication means. Ms. Woody has met the requirements of notifying in advance that she is unable to attend in person due to a personal illness that prevents her physical attendance at the meeting. Ms. Woody will participate from her residence. I would like to call for a motion to approve Ms. Woody's request to attend the meeting by electronic communication means from the LBOT members present. Do I have a motion? Bill? And do I have a second?
Second.
Sharon? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone
Aye.
opposed? Okay, excellent. Next, is there anything that needs to be added to the agenda at this time? And if not, is there a motion to approve the September 24th, 2025 agenda as submitted or amended?
I move to approve the agenda as submitted.
Okay, do I have a second?
A second.
Thank you, Emily. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda consisting of the July 23rd, 2025 meeting minutes, the pending deposit gifts report, and the statistical reports as needed? Can I have a motion? Bill? And a second.
Aye.
Thank you, Cynthia. All in favor?
Aye.
Great.
Aye.
All right. Welcome to all of our visitors. Let's get started with the Friends report.
So Clay is tied. He's not here yet. So he's tied up this morning. So I'll briefly, I don't have a lot to report. Ruth is also unable to attend the meeting this morning. They had a book drive on September 6th to prepare for their upcoming book sale in November. They collected a lot of stuff and they're sorting through it. So they're just preparing for the next book sale.
Okay,
Really
glad that was
nothing more to
successful.
report than other than that.
Okay, and if Clay comes in, we'll just
He may have some more.
move him around and see. Foundation,
So Susan is on vacation.
good for
So
Susan,
she's,
good for Susan.
She's provided a report. I believe you have it in front of you. The highlights are, we have provided an overview of the Jack R. Anderson Foundation, noting that the time of the report was in its final stages of preparation. You've got the handouts. So, any questions on that? Take a moment to read it.
That's very impressive, just what we want to do.
I will ask one quick question. I'm just not familiar with, who's Sprout School? Anybody know it?
So Sprout School, oh, go ahead.
Yeah,
My
go
kid
ahead.
goes there, to the
Yeah.
Children's Museum one. They're associated with the YWCA, and they're a preschool daycare.
Great.
And I think they use Reggio Emilio,
Oh,
They
okay.
do.
so that's their curriculum that they
I know.
use. So the YWCA has one down the street.
The
Children's
Children's Museum, and
has
there's
one.
several other locations, some of them further out from the main city, but I think there's 2 downtown and then the Children's Museum. also.
Okay.
You said it's a daycare?
It's a daycare. And they
preschool combo.
they have like full pay, and they also have scholarships. So it's very open.
If you ever get a chance to visit one, they're kind of interesting to see because they, I don't know that there's Reggio Emilio and then there's another one. I can't think of it.
Montessori is
Montessori,
similar.
yeah.
It's child-led.
Yeah.
Reggio is a little less child-led even there. I think
Yeah.
It's more inventive, less structured and directed even than Montessori usually starts.
Very playful.
Then it starts. It's very, like, I remember when they started putting in one of the schools here, people were upset because they said, well, my child's not learning the colors and the ABCs right away. And they learned them. But it's not, okay, this week we're going to work on colors and ABC. It's different.
It's not a structured curriculum.
Yeah.
No. And it works very well with the basics. So Beth and her team are very familiar with that process. They've been working with it for their whole careers. So they know how to shape our program and literacy activities around what they're doing. So they'll bring them
good-
here, and there's a
good
good
synergy.
connection there. So it's really been great. So the foundation has done a great job of supporting it with the early learning activity center, which is online upstairs. It's been good. Any other questions?
Okay, stay on the stage, Scott. Your library administration.
Nothing really to add to the report. We wrapped up summer reading program. I believe we talked. I don't know if I don't believe we have a formal report in here. We did about 300 less than we did the previous year. So when you go up, basically 100% from in 24 to do what we did in 25 and hold is pretty good. We would like to do more. Our end of the summer event was at Pine Camp. It was conflicting a little bit with RPS, so we didn't have as big a turnout as we would like to see, but it was still a successful summer reading program.
And let me interject that over the past 2 summers, we have increased participation 52%. So that we're flat one summer, we shouldn't worry about it. We are moving in all the ways we should be moving. Sorry.
No, that's fine. That's great. So summer reading program. You know that library card sign-up month is going on. I hope you've seen the thing that people are voting on, the images that were created by the artists. So those are in process. Last time I'd heard we had 500 votes. So they will select one of those images to be used to create a online store that you can order things, mugs, t-shirts, that sort of things. They will produce it and send the product to the person who orders it and basically just send us the funds that they raise from it. So that'll be a nice product of library card sign up month, as well as signing up more people for the library. I just wanted to point out in circulation, we're about 15,000 over where we were last year, and that's really good. So August and September and July have been, or August and July have been pretty good months. I think.
Okay.
Are there any questions?
All right. Do you want to introduce Aaron?
We have Erin Brawyer, who is our technical services library community services manager. So she works here at the main library, and she leads our team that does acquisitions of materials, processing of those materials, oversight of the online catalog, and then other duties as pop up, anything to really do with collection management. Erin's been with us about 3 years. And came to us from Central Rappahannock Regional Library System. So very experienced there, a great library system. And so Erin can share with us what she's been doing here to help us to make our collection better.
Thank you. So, like Scott said, my name is Erin Brawlier, and I'm the Library Community Services Manager for Technical Services. I am responsible for the selection of print and digital titles for all ages, as well as selecting and evaluating our online learning databases. My team is responsible for processing the new materials, and together we help evaluate and manage the collection for the entire system. Since I started working here 2.5 years ago, my department has successfully reduced the collection by partnering with Thrift Books, which allows us to send discarded materials to receive credits that can be used to purchase new materials. We've created an overflow area to help free up shelf space at the branches, which helps makes the shelves more browsable to our patrons. And we've also added thousands of new current and high interest materials to make our collection more up to date and enticing for patrons to check out. We've also made improvements to the collection and catalog in ways of discoverability by updating records with current subject headings, cleaning out old records, and reclassifying biographies to be more browsable. We reclassified them to be by the subject of the biography instead of just a Dewey number. We've also introduced 3 new types of materials to our print collection: Vox books that are talking books for children to help with literacy, book club bags that help connect people within our community, and starting in October, zines, which has a huge cultural presence here in Richmond. Since I've started, we've also seen a significant increase in digital circulation, which continues to grow monthly due to popular social media influences and easy accessibility. All of these accomplishments have led to reaching over 1 million circs this last fiscal year, which is a milestone that has not happened in a long time. At the end of this first quarter in our current fiscal year, compared to the end of the first quarter of last fiscal year, we are already showing a 3% increase in print and a 30% increase in digital circulation. The focus of this current fiscal year is going to be how to meet the demand in Libby, which now has over 41,000 holds compared to our budget. So.
You are the person I wanted to hear from the most.
Oh,
So
good.
thank you
You're
for
welcome.
coming.
Thank you for having me.
So I'll start with my question. Which databases are used the most?
Newsbank, which is
Okay.
where people can get current Richmond Times Dispatch and other news articles, Ancestry. Those are definitely
Okay,
Ancestry is the
okay.
highest, yeah.
You go ahead.
Have you encountered or had to think about AI-generated material within digital?
Yes, and I've already seen that, and I have actually added a couple of AI narrated audiobooks due to patron requests. So it's not something I'm necessarily seeking out, but it does say, I forget what the exact, but it does clearly state that it's an AI speaker, so it's not necessarily hidden or anything like that. I have not seen anything with our print. Our collection development policy where our books have to have a review helps us with that because our journals, the journals are not going to be reviewing AI content. But we will see it digitally just because those types of books that are narrated by AI are very popular within the social media influencers.
Good question.
I don't want to say this kind of a dumb question, but with AI, are people going to be able to request that a book is read to them through AI or something like that? Or are they just books that are automatically read that way out now?
That's a good question. So yeah, so that's like an accessibility versus AI. And, I was actually having this discussion with my husband and there has to be some sort of human involvement because you can't just make up an AI voice. So, but it is probably code scripted. So it is a book that's been written that's used AI to narrate it. But if you need, so that's, while it's being read to you, it's not like when you go on our website and you can have that read to you, although that's probably AI generated too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just, looking at blind people,
Yeah.
Is that a service we could possibly look into provide to, to blind people?
Well, our website has that, where it could read to you, and then the audiobooks,
Yeah, I know you can get,
yeah.
certain books and audio, but
Right,
just
right.
any book, is
Yeah.
not audio.
I mean, not all, and also there's a push. there is a not movement, but a lot are going, because of the popularity, Audible. So, and a lot of books are being taken off of Overdrive to go Audible. V.E. Schwab, I've noticed, had a very popular audiobook. We had over, I think, 20 some holds for it that I just had to cancel those holds because it's not available in Libby anymore, and it's probably because it's going to Audible. Audible pays more, publishers, authors are going that
Interesting.
route. So there is, as far as like accessibility, as far as like us being able to add it to our collection, that's a trend that's I'm keeping track of. So not everything, unfortunately, can be bought, and not everything, you know, it is easily bought.
That is
The-
so interesting.
yeah, the publishing market for the digital is wild right now. That's all I can describe it. It is, you know, I'm seeing things that were available for like, it's called 100 circs at one time, you know, where 100 people could have that book right now. They're moving it now to 26 circ, one person, one user, you know, because for, you know, it's the publishers that are setting that price. And it's limiting, you know, we're having to buy so many copies to keep us using. You know, we have 2,800 holds in print materials, and we have 41,000 holds on Overdrive. So, but print is going up. You know, we haven't seen an increase in print in a long time, so that is a good thing.
Yeah.
It's just the accessibility of digital makes it very.
Can you tell us the difference between Libby, Overdrive, and Hoopla?
Tell you the difference? Sure,
Yeah.
absolutely. So Hoopla is what we call CPC, which is like circ per customer. So if you have one book, all of us could check that book out at the same time. Whereas Overdrive, they have metered access, one copy, one user, and part of that metered access, you can have concurrent users. So it's like 3 different, what we call lending models.
Okay.
So sometimes you have to place a hold, and then sometimes you can check it out all together.
And when you subscribe to, and you just pick which answer you want to give, because it will all be new to me. When you subscribe to Libby or Hoopla, do you pick levels of service, or is there just one price that we pay?
That's a good question. So in Hoopla, you can go up to, I think it's, so each checkout costs something.
Right.
And I think the highest is $350. It's been a while since I've looked at it. I apologize. I have had to reduce that because of our budget, which has reduced our catalog. We still have 1 million
Right.
available options in Hoopla. But right, so I can pick the tier in Hoopla of what our circ is. And then I also can like choose certain things like Court of Thorns and Roses, which is the most popular series. I opened that up in Hoopla because you don't have to wait for it. Granted, with that being said, we have over 1,000 circs of that book in Libby and only 200 circs in Hoopla. People choose, you know, like which way they want to go.
It's like
And-
Ford or Chevy.
Yeah, exactly. Same basic vehicle, just different, you know, brand. In Overdrive, it's set, you know, we pay for the platform, but then the publisher sets the price of the book. So I can choose, so like new titles, sometimes a publisher, like Penguin Random House, they're a good one, where they'll have either a 12-month metered access or a 2-month. If it's a new book, I always pick 2 years because to get it the longest. So like I have a little bit of wiggle room that way, but I can't, you know, that's as far as I can go.
So are the same books available on both platforms?
No, and that's also a very good question.
Yeah.
So not all the same. Sometimes they are both, you know, and it also depends. So Hoopla will sometimes free up. So like Frida McFadden is also a very popular author. I think a couple of her books just opened up on Hoopla, but depending on our pricing tier, they may not be available to our patrons.
It's all being driven by the publishers.
Yeah.
So the publishers determine which platforms they're going to distribute books on.
Right.
And how it's going to work, and then they negotiate the licensing on the inside. So the publishers are negotiating at one level, and then the jobbers or the distribution models, so the Hooplas or the Libbies or Overdrive, are licensing on their model.
Right.
and it's all over the place. So like Aaron is demonstrating how challenging it is for us to find, we're selecting titles, we're selecting books, and they're instantly available, but they're not ours forever. We're only purchasing a license.
Some in Overdrive are. I do
Yeah.
try to buy one copy, one user in Overdrive, which means we do own the book. So theoretically, it should never go away unless sometimes they do pull, they don't want that license agreement with Overdrive.
That one copy, one user is at a time, but that can be any number over the course of the next 5 years, next 20 years, whatever. There's not a cap for how many times it can.
Correct. Yep. So we have that in hopes in perpetuity. And so like our audio, but see, also that's mainly audiobooks come in that format. Every once in a while you'll see an ebook that will have, and so I do snatch those because again, that's a asset. That's ours. Whereas metered access is not. At my last library, when it came to COVID and we got the grant money, we could only buy one copy, one user because we had to be able, we had to own that book, own that material. Whereas metered access, it does go away. And I weed in Overdrive, like I do the collection. If something's not circulating in the metered access that comes up, I choose to delete that title from the catalog instead of continuing to invest in it when it doesn't have. I have a metric for that as well.
Okay.
And
So
she's
there is-
constantly looking at data. So the online catalog is constantly providing data. The vendors are also constantly providing data. So she can look at lists and see what's moving, what's not moving, what the hold list is. And so we can fine tune the electronic collection probably a lot better than we can the physical collection.
Not really. I look at that too. Like we have reports in our ILS system. I call them purchase alerts, where I look at that weekly. So that ratio, luckily, I can have a smaller ratio than I can in Overdrive, just because the cost is just so much cheaper. So I add titles to the collection if we have too many holds, to help keep that turnover. And then also with the print collection, I run a report every week to see what holds can't be placed because we don't have any more viable copies or, this or that. And so I add there as well. So, all of that helps with the sustainability of the collection.
If I search for a book, and it's not there, does my search request go anywhere for someone to look at to see if maybe
That's a good
to
question.
get that book? I mean,
We do have an online forum that suggests a title. So a patron, if they cannot find a book, they can fill out that form.
it's a form.
Yeah, it's online, and it's a header on the catalog to try and have easy access. And then in Overdrive, there's something called Tag Me, so where you can tag it, and I see that. So I look at that list, and you can narrow it down to just our patrons. So I look at what have the most tags to add because that's a better way. And I try to also help patrons understand that if you look for it in Overdrive and it does not come up, that means I cannot add it. So like a really pop project, Hail Mary, I would love for that book to be available on Overdrive Libby as an audiobook, but that's an audible book. And if you tried to search for it in your Libby app, an audiobook, it will not show up, not even to tag. And that means that it's not available for anybody to purchase in that format.
And something that's very challenging for us is people will search for books in the app. So when you're searching for books in the app, that's not necessarily a reflection of our entire collection. It's only a reflection of
What's
what's
on
in
that app.
Libby. When you search for something in Hoopla, it's just their collection. It's not our entire collection. So the best place to search is in the online
Library.
catalog. So going to our website and searching in the online catalog, because that has federated searching. Am I saying that right? Is that still what we're calling it? So federated searching means it's searching all of those databases. So at the end of the day, that's the best place.
Formats,
That's the best place. It's searching all different formats, electronic and otherwise.
And we've really updated our online catalog. We now group a title, so it, if you are put in Project Hail Mary, it'll have book, it'll have ebook, and then if we have it in audio CD, and then in October, we've made it so then the search will also have tabs for physical, digital, all. so that you can choose, and there's also the formats on the side. We've done a lot with the online catalog to make it. But I will say that people, though, have a preference. Reading is really a preference, There is a small select of power users who will toggle between a physical book and a digital book. But our statistics are showing that we have mostly people who want it this way or they want it that way. I look at like comparison of things that I have here, The Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. We have 232 holds of it in the ebook, and we have 17 holds in print with 10 copies. So you would think that people would want the print, you'd get that faster, but they want the way they want it.
That is so interesting. I will do anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter
there
to
are
me.
people- I will too, for the most part.
Yeah.
I'm mainly an audiobook listener because I have a 2-hour or hour commute. But so a power user will, but some people, I think the trend is to buy the book for your shelf and read the book on your Kindle.
So if I go on the catalog and it says, the book exists or whatever, it will tell me if I can pull it up on Libby or Hoopla?
Yes, and you can, and that's called API. So you can then click and it'll take you to your Libby app. Another thing that Scott and I have discussed is that only 2% of our Libby circulation and Hoopla circulation is through that way. People have the apps. Our main circulation in Libby and Hoopla is through the Libby app. I mean, it's pretty dynamic, and the Hoopla app. So, it would be nice, right, to have more people go through our library app so that they can see, because you never know. Maybe people would be like, oh, well, I can see this in print, and then,
Oh, that's very interesting.
yeah,
too.
it's a prep.
Okay.
It really is. I look at I love statistics. I look at everything to try it and make this work. But it is just the digital is king right now.
So interesting. Any other questions for Erin?
I learned a lot.
Oh, great.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you very much.
much.
You can probably tell I can talk about this all day. So you can call me anytime.
Yeah, you never want to come when we're talking about this because we get in the weeds and we're talking about.
This is so
you know.
interesting.
Yeah, it's very
I
interesting
learned
because
so much.
there's
yeah.
a direct correlation between this and our budget and
Yeah.
how we're
No, of
making good
course.
decisions about where
Of
we're
course.
placing our emphasis and what our
Right.
users are telling us that they want to see it in.
Right.
And I think that surprising thing to me is that yes, people are just searching in their app. So, and that's what I do too. I look in Libby, and if I don't see it, then I'm like, meh, don't have it. But I should be searching in the catalog or
I
the
always
app.
search in the cat.
Yeah, you're a power user, so you better be a power user. Yeah. Yep.
Erin,
you, Erin.
thank you. All right, that was terrific. Advocacy. I have a bunch of things that I want to relay to you. First, we have in your packet the listing of trustee assigned to council person. I would like you to look at that either today or at some point. Let me see if I have a page number for it.
23.
Thank you. I like this to be a team effort. Look this over. And I have to thank Jonna, who updated all of the points of contact. If you want to switch, if you want to take a break, whatever, let me know, because we want to get the trustee and the council person firmed up going into October. And everything is possible. There's no harm, no foul. But let's just get the information in before budget season starts and our advocacy campaign gets going. So that's number one. Number two, we sent an email out about the children's programs that if you haven't already sent it out to your council person, and for 6 of them, we had a great photo too, try and get that done in September. And you don't have to use what I wrote. You may do what you know your district much better than I know your district. That was just an idea. Do whatever is right, but get it out by the end of September. I know Bill and I both sent ours out, and we both got responses right away. Yay, library! So that went nicely. Third, last year as chair, I tried to talk to council when the council had their joint meeting twice. That seemed to be a reasonable piece to everything that we do in advocacy. It's not a standalone, but it's a piece of what we do. I'm going to address them again on October 14th. That's why I want your messages to go out in September. So when I talk to them in October as a group, everyone's off the hook because we will have done something in October. The final thing it looks like from what Scott is hearing, from what Bill is hearing, it's going to be a tough budget year coming up. So what I have done is I've asked my co-advocacy partner and vice chair, Sharon, to work with Bill, our finance person, to come up with a draft plan, not implementation, just a plan that talks about what messages should we be saying to council, when we should be saying them, are there any techniques we should be using? Just draft a plan. They're going to do that, thank heaven, and have that ready for us to work on next meeting. So our October meeting, we will begin to say, how are we going to move advocacy for the library through this budget season? And I am very appreciative of both of them. Thank you.
I'll just mention something to go with that, Chris. Chris alluded to a quick response. When I heard back from Stephanie Lynch's liaison, she made the point of being very positive. And one of those she glad to have everyone there, and she loved the program going on that's picking up so well and so on. But she closed with, please be sure to start voicing what the library's budget priorities are with all the council members throughout October and November. So this is sort of a prod to us. We don't wait until February, March to start. Now, we may wait to start asking for specific amounts, but we need this to do it. But to start talking about what our priorities are, getting them thinking that this is important for their, so that's why October, November, we really need, it reminds us.
Yeah. And of course, all of this will be driven by Scott because
Absolutely.
he is the
Well, it's driven by Scott.
we fully support.
On all the funding and things. I think, once again, the board, we talked about maybe 2 meetings ago about the maybe somewhat shifting focus from the early childhood to hitting the senior population a little bit differently. I don't know that we've decided to do anything, but clearly, Chris, that's when you'll guide us through what some of those priorities. Accessibility and early childhood has been sort of the mantra that we've been.
And it's been a winner,
It's
too.
been great.
It's been a winner,
And there's that tendency to stick with the winner. But but if we've gotten there, maybe it's time to
expand.
push some of the others. Or it may be something as simple as what Aaron was just talking about, and say, one of the things we need is more money for more licenses. I was really surprised. I tend to be a print reader, so I sort them. I use Cersei to get my things, rather than going through Hoopla or any of the others usually, because I'm looking at paper copies, the print copies. So I go in and I sort for the print copy usually. And if I can't find it, then I'll look for an electronic copy. But I was really surprised to listen to Aaron and hear how much longer the whole list is on electronic. Because I always think, like if you go over to Henrico, their whole list seems sort of similar. I mean, I can get them about as quickly there in paper as electronic almost, it seems. It's been my experience. I don't do it that often. But I thought our paper was sometimes slow on new books and things. You know, maybe we just need more money for some of the new stuff. And that could be a priority that we need to start talking. And that's really important, I think, in certain council districts, because I think while we see the statistics every month, and we can look and say, okay, well, West End's got the highest, and maybe Westover Hills following that, Maine following that, Ginter Park. You know, we sort of have that ranking that tends to be pretty similar. I bet if we looked at it, we'd find differences in the types of books they're taking, how recent they
Oh,
are.
that's
Am I
an
right about that, Erin?
interesting
Yeah,
idea.
like,
Oh,
Westover is really, like, their children's
So-
cert
Yeah.
is, and West End too, is like, whereas Belmont and Maine, theirs is more adult.
Yeah.
So that is on point of like where the circulation is.
So, yeah, I guess my point there is some of those council members, that people really care how long they're waiting for books.
but I like the idea of tailoring to population,
Yeah.
so
Like,
very good. Very
so I didn't
good.
mean to.
Excellent. So by the end of this month, get your messages out to council if you haven't already. Review who you've linked up with as a buddy. And if you're happy going forward, great. You don't need to tell me anything. If you want to switch, let me know and we'll get you switched. Okay, those are the two actions. Any questions for advocacy going forward? I think we're looking great. Policy. Any comments, Emily?
No, so I have a comment. Yes, last meeting, we approved all but one of the policies. I believe it's 5.01.
That is.
So for that, Scott has a great plan on how to approach the issues in that policy, and I'll turn it over to Scott to talk about that.
Thanks, Emily. So what we're going to do is, we're grateful that we have all these policies approved, reviewed.
And that should be a huge accomplishment for the year. I mean, Emily, thank you, and Scott, you and your team, that is a huge, huge accomplishment.
And it makes a difference. So we have an opportunity to update all of our procedures because our procedures support our policies. So our procedures haven't been gone through the way we've gone through policies in about just as long as we waited on the policies. Okay. So I've assembled a committee of staff members to pull up all of our old procedures. We're going through all of our old procedures that are tied to policy, but also procedures that are internal to different departments. So Aaron has procedures for how to process books that go on the shelves. We need to update those to make sure that we're saying this is where the sticker goes and this is where how we're going to do it, how we're going to manage the way books appear on the shelf. We're going to go through how we process, or how our policy supports our procedure for circulation. So all the nuts and bolts of how we do circulation will be gone through, so we'll develop all those procedures. So this committee is reviewing all the procedures. I'm going to take this last policy that we have to work on, 5.01, and we're going to work on it with this committee, and we're going to update and draft that policy and come up with the best possible one, and then return to the Board of Trustees to review it and update it in the policy. So I think we're batting about 990 on it, so if we only had one policy to do, then we're doing well. So I have a great group, a great committee that will be able to talk about this in as we're working on the procedures and be able to process it. I'll also run it again through our managers and staff and then bring it back to the board.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's our current plan.
Excellent. We have questions, comments, thoughts? Nope. Okay. Board committee reports, and we start with the chair. Phil, I don't know if you're going to throw things up on the screen or...
He's got the PowerPoint.
Okay, you are fabulous. So in July, we talked about a major initiative relating to facilities. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through that initiative again. It's exactly the same thing you saw in July, so I'll go a little faster. Then I'm going to tell you about 3 meetings that Scott and I had. What we did was we talked to leaders who had done major facility initiatives. We talked to Jerry McKenna, who oversaw the Henrico Library System. We talked to John Umpschneider, who did the Cabell VCU Library. And we talked to Chris Frelke, who got the multiple new rec centers. And we just asked them what you do. How'd you do it? What worked well, what didn't work well, and I'm going to summarize what we learned, the big points going into this, should we choose to go into this effort. Once we do that, I'm going to ask Scott, is he up for it? And of course he is, but does he want to do it? Is it the right thing for him to do, or is there a piece he wants to do? It is his call. Depending on what he says, and I know the answer, we'll discuss. If anyone has concerns and this isn't the right time, we're going to wait a couple months and we're going to try again if we can answer your concerns. If not, we'll table it. If, however, we are in agreement, I'm going to ask we put a motion on the table to support a facilities initiative. But no harm, no foul. This can go however it is right for the trustees to go, okay? So let's go back and number 1, review. So we have 3 pieces to the facilities initiative. The first is Maine, and that's bringing Maine up to code. There are a million problems with Maine. We just got to get it fixed and have this be a safe building for our employees and for our patrons. The second
You say
one,
you're saying then keeping Maine, not replacing Maine, but fixing Maine.
fixing Maine, fixing Maine,
Getting us,
yeah, fixing Maine. Not renovating Maine.
not renovating, exactly.
Not
That's the
rent.
distinction.
Yeah,
Fixing the
yeah,
things like the railing that, I know,
yes.
we're-
No comment. Yeah.
yeah, things like that, right?
Smart move, smart move. Okay, next slide, please. The second element is we have 3 libraries that are our oldest and our smallest and in our high use corridor. Those are Belmont, Westover Hills, and East End. We have got to, in those neighborhoods, have more capacity in our libraries. And we're open to lots of different opportunities, but those neighborhoods need to have better facilities. And finally, Phil, third slide. We have parts of the city that are growing and have no easy access to a library system. And you'll see the priorities being District 8, District 9, and the Scott's Addition Diamond District area. So those are 3 different efforts. We're wrapping it all into facilities. The first one probably stands alone. The other 2 can be bundled in a way, and maybe we'll get something. Now, let me move to what we learned from our conversations. Phil, the last slide. You see the yellow highlighted? Everybody told us we do not have a good elevator pitch. We do not have a good, clear, why is the library important? And I have to say, I fumble it, and I think I love the library as much as anybody walking around. all three people said without good, short, strong messaging, you're lost. Now, I would tell you, as just a member of the trustees, we better fix that whether we do the facilities or not. Getting a good, strong thing. The second thing we heard from everybody is you have to go out and have hundreds of meetings. Anytime anyone will want you to talk, you need to go talk. If you're going to have, Chris Felke said if he's going to have a meeting on a possible park, he had door hangers on every home within a mile announcing that meeting to really be enormously proactive in bringing the community in and listening. The other thing that Chris said, which I personally took to heart because it speaks to my shortcoming, is write on your hand, do not talk. Because this is a listening experience, not a talking experience. So it's a lot of out talking. The third thing is a good data package. Both John and Chris talked about having benchmarks, having comparisons, having all your user need data clearly defined. And the final thing is, and they all told us this, is it's going to take a really long time. A really long time. So don't expect that we'll be successful in 3 years. We may not be successful in 5 years, but you do eventually get to where we need to go. They all helped me enormously at understanding the outside game for doing this. Do we have any questions at this point? Thoughts, comments? Does this all seem, is anyone surprised by the messages that we heard? No. We probably could have figured it out, right? But it was super good to hear these guys, and they were all enormously helpful to me. Okay, so Scott, what are you thinking?
Oh, I think it's a great plan. I think it's the way we should move forward.
You do?
We've been talking about it for many years, and there's many of the elements that have risen to the top. So that's what
Okay.
we need to do.
Okay. Over to you guys. What concerns, questions, thoughts do you have on a facilities plan?
I have a question.
Yes, Janet.
I want to make sure I understand what you're saying about Maine. Are you putting aside a new building?
For Maine,
Are we
In
eliminating
in your
for the moment
plan, what you're
the
suggesting?
renovation
slash
effort.
The whole building project at the study versus,
Do you want me to try and answer that, or do you want to answer that?
Well, I'll give it a shot, and then you can help me.
Okay. Yeah.
So essentially, we need an answer on Maine. We have the master plan that we did. It's a wonderful plan. It shows all of the aspirational things we'd love to see here. We need an answer. So can we do that plan? Are there elements of that plan that we can do? Can we renovate? Do we want to tear down? What do we need to do? Because we have a plan, so let's move to the next phase, or let's figure out what we can do next. And then let's allocate dollars for it, because we heard from the last administration, we do all these plans and we have beautiful plans on the shelves, but we don't ever put money behind them and get moving.
Yeah.
So Parks and Rec was able to move on those buildings because they had plans, and then they got money and they were able to move. We were not in that place. So we can now move forward. We need an answer for Maine. So let's let the city decide who will be staking the cost of the project, what they would like to do. So we present to them all the information we found, everything we've heard, and it's their decision to help us get to where we're telling them we need to go.
okay, I'm going to ask here, because just being the devil's advocate a little bit here, I'm a little bit confused in that I think we're giving the city an up or down choice right now. We're saying, fund the master plan, $80 million, renovate Maine, or don't do anything and let us hobble along. Are we at the point where we want to make a decision there? Do we want to be able to say, if they're gonna come up with $80 million, let me just ask, if they came up with 80 million right now, do we want to plunk it all down and do Maine? Or do we wanna renovate Belmont, get a new location for it, expand it? Do we want something in Scott's Addition? Do we wanna go further south and take and build three $20 million?
Yeah.
I think we have to be clear on our message before we push them for a yay or nay, because if they give us a yay, that's wonderful. Now, we sort of like the dog chasing the mailman. We caught it. What do we want? Is that really what we wanted? Okay. If they give us a no, is it because 80 million or 60 million or whatever number you want to use right now is just not going to fly currently? But if we go in there and say, look, we need 2 million to get Maine safe, and we need 20 million to get this crying need over here addressed, particularly maybe far south side where we've got a growing population, much of which may not be English speaking, and lots of things that are tie in with other decisions in the city. That they may say, they may be more likely, frankly, to spend money on some of those things than they are Maine, because they may look and say, yeah, Maine's not perfect, and it isn't, and there are lots of things that we'd all love to have, and if you go into any of Henrico's, you think, yeah, but at the same time,
So I would,
so that's my question.
I would tell you, and Scott's heard this from me a million times, we don't decide what we want.
Okay.
Markets decide what we want. And by markets, I mean the people with money decide. And they decide because a champion looks at something who has the power and the skill to move it forward. To be honest, we didn't have that with the Maine renovation.
Right.
We did not have a champion. We did not have a market that said, oh gosh, yes, driving need, got to have that happen. Do we know which one of these things is going to have a champion and is going to hit the market exactly right? No. But if we don't start shopping the ideas around in socializing, getting our boss, getting everyone to see, we're going to be in the same place we are right today. So I would say, Janet, to your question, if we can get a renovation, super duper, but if we can just get the frickin' stairs fixed, I'm thrilled. Yeah.
Yeah. We have to do something.
But I don't think we're going to make the decision.
Yeah, we
I
won't
think
make the decision.
No,
All we
I
can
don't
do
think
is
it's
present
us.
the case.
No, I'm just saying, before we sit down and tell, Mayor Avila or whoever, we need a yay or nay on, are we gonna go forward with this? We need to know what a nay does,
Right.
and we need to maybe give them we'd really like to do all of this.
Right.
And here are the reasons.
right.
But, as you're doing a capital budgeting process, you're gonna get the biggest bang for maybe south of Broad Rock, maybe the second biggest by doing something in Scott's Addition. I don't know, I don't know where they are, but putting those to give them,
Yeah.
we're all sort of, and I think what happened a little bit with the that master plan is that we followed the city's budgeting process. And
We
here's how you
did to
have
the
do it.
letter. Yes.
And we may need to drive this a little bit more, and that's clearly what Parks and Rec did. They went
That's
outside,
clearly what they did. Yeah. Yeah.
Now they also had American Rescue Money.
Right, but they were
had
ready
something.
for it. They were ready
And
for
they
it.
We
had
need a
multiple.
priority list.
Thank you. Yeah.
Is this what we need to focus on right now? And I hate to say push back on the renovation, or is the renovation still up front and this is secondary?
I think we socialize all three issues and see before we put anything on, and before we start an official process, and see where there's an appetite. and a person who will help us. And I can't talk about that. Scott can't talk about that unless the board knows that we're going to do that.
Let me ask something that I don't.
And I
don't know.
wouldn't do it unless the board does too.
I don't know if it can be done or not, but is this something like when we contact our district people, can we ask them to survey their, people to see what their preference would be? I mean, could we develop a survey and ask them to send it out or something like that? I mean, I don't know if it can be done.
Once all the steps above, I would absolutely go to the council person for Westover Hills, the council person for Belmont. Yes, you, very smart, exactly right.
So Chris, what you're asking now is that we make a motion saying, go forward with studying these
Right.
and coming up with
Let's
those.
talk about it with
Get the information.
powerful people and see who likes what and what advice they give us. But again, this is your call.
I have a question.
Of course, Cynthia.
The council people or the person for this area, do they know what the problems are in this building? Do they have like pictures? I watched some pictures from Southside, the Department of Social Services. Reva went to the new CAO. I don't know how I'm saying his name. She took those pictures on a Wednesday on how bad it was inside the Department of Social Services. Friday, when they closed that building, the majority of those problems were solved by Monday when the building opened back up.
Councilwoman Trammell is fabulous. Yeah. But we would like the administration to support. Anyway, there's a lot of different pieces that everybody has to ponder.
Who's
But
the
that's a
council
good
person
point.
For this area.
Ellen Robertson.
Uh-oh.
But it's changing, right?
No.
Oh, okay, we're not in the second.
No, we used to be,
No, you are in the
thought this
second.
was
You're
the
in
second.
Catherine Jordan.
right, it used to be Ellen Robertson, now it's Jordan.
It's
Yeah,
changed, yes.
Jordan. Yeah,
Jordan.
Yes, Jordan.
yeah, sorry. The line's like at Second Street or something. I
Right,
think.
it's, yeah. I mean, to me, the main library is kind of a city public infrastructure project, almost like the water crisis that we
It's a
ran
landmark
into.
building.
It's like
Yeah.
City
Yeah,
Hall.
we're a
It's
landmark
a-
building.
It is.
Right.
Yeah,
It's for everybody, 230,000 residents, $80 million over 230,000 residents is
Yeah.
about $350 a person.
yep, yep,
Whereas a branch is more of a district or a community
yep,
asset, just specifically for that
Yep.
location.
yep.
And if you use $20 million and there's 25,000 people, that's $800 per person.
Yes, it is.
So in a way, you get more bang for your buck with the main library.
Right.
But it serves the entire, but it's also it's a infrastructure. They're almost like two different
Well,
types of
They
projects.
they are too.
One is infrastructure and the other is more community centered.
And when you think about here, everybody has ownership of this. Everyone uses it, and
Right.
I grew up
Even
in
the
county,
branches, right?
And I came in as a kid. This was you came in and so on. But your branch is the one that
Boots on the
is that
ground.
real strong part of family more. It's different. So you may get people who say, well, it's only $300 a person to do this.
Right.
But people can say, yeah, can I get $300 out
Value.
of renovating
Right,
this?
right.
Versus saying, well, yeah, it's worth $800 for my constituents to get,
Right. Right,
Because
what
they
they
do. If
need.
you look at the circulation, I mean, it's shocking that you've got 3 branches that bounce above main
main, yes,
circulation.
Right.
yes, yes.
It tells
Right.
you how much people
Right.
are going into those branches.
Right.
Yes.
That doesn't mean that Maine's not going to use for all kinds of wonderful things, as well as being the sort of
Right.
the brains and the and, the structure to get everything done. But those branches have an appeal where nobody may be a champion for Maine, whereas you may have multiple champions, say for Belmont, because you might get the district there, you may get the people from Scott's Edition caring about it.
Yes,
You may,
good point.
So I just think
There's more political
it's right. It's
will in the branches.
maybe, I don't know.
And we'll tell a strong story for all three.
Okay.
And someone will love one of them, maybe a couple people, but I'm not smart enough to predict who's going to grab
Right.
what. But to your point, we will tell a strong story for all three issues if we decide to go forward.
So what kind of language you want in a?
Okay, so thank you for asking, Bill. Here is what two choices. The motion could be the LBOT fully supports RPL Director Scott Firestein's effort to improve and expand RPL facilities. And we just stop there. Second choice is LBOT fully supports RPL Director's effort to improve and expand facilities to include Maine, expansions at Westover Hills, Belmont, and East End, and the creation of new libraries. Or anything else you want.
I like the second one.
I'd sort of go with the second. I mean, the concern there is that you're saying, are you limiting it to that? But I think we're okay with limiting it a little bit to that. We want the focus, and it shows a little more
Direction.
Right, you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Cynthia, you good?
Yeah. I think so.
so are we all okay with this?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
Janet, are you
somebody-
okay with this?
I think so. I want to hear when we get a motion, I just want to hear it again.
Sure. So we're going with the second motion? Okay. The LBOT fully supports RPL Director Scott Firestein's effort to improve and expand RPL facilities to include Maine, expansions at Westover Hills, Belmont, and East End, and the creation of new libraries.
Can I make one change?
Of
Did we
course.
say expansion or replacement?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, that's smart.
That is smart.
I just think,
And I suggest change creation of new libraries to consideration.
Okay. Any other changes? I'm going to read it again, just so that we're good. Okay. Are you good with this? The LBOT fully supports RPL Director Scott Firestein's effort to improve and expand/replace RPL facilities to include Maine, expansions at Westover Hills, Belmont, and East End, and the consideration of new libraries.
expansion or replacement?
Replacement.
Or replacement after the expansion.
For Westover
Expansion or
Hills
replacement.
and Belmont.
Oh, gotcha, sorry. Okay, let me try it one more time. I appreciate your tolerance. First sentence, in Scott's effort to improve and expand RPL facilities to include Maine, expansion/replacements at Westover Hills, Belmont, and East End, and the consideration of new libraries.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
A second.
All right.
Good.
All in favor, say aye.
Yeah.
Anyone, oh, and Janet, can you say aye again so that we make sure we capture it?
Aye.
Well done. Anyone opposed? Thank you very much. Whew. All right, I think it's a good decision. Now we're moving on to Finance Committee and Bill.
Okay, I'll keep this short. Everything's on target. Finance, if you look at the budget that's on page 20, you will see some things and say, I don't quite understand, or why are we 2 months in, 100% in, or different numbers that are funny in there. Ones that really stick out are things like security, advertising, let's see, what's that one? And a couple others are similar to that. So Scott and I talked about it, and we do have to be aware that we may have a security situation coming up, but it's not when you look at this and you say, if this is a 2-month spending of it, we actually have $1 million problem facing. We do not. Okay, this is an expectation of 2 months for the year. I mean, of this cost has already been allocated for the whole year. They've encumbered the money for the year. It probably will go up because the city's working on a new security agreement, contracts, they're out, and our costs will probably go up. So we're probably gonna have a little problem there, and that's a surprisingly expensive part of our budget now. Security just bothers me every time I see it, because it just seems like it's sad that we have to spend that much money, and we're not really getting tight security anywhere except Maine on a regular basis. I mean, it's, but anyway, I think we're good on that. The questions you may have on the benefits things, that's up to the city. We really can't, so I don't even worry about them at this point. And the advertising, Scott explained to me, it'll all work through. He's trying to get them back into one line item. You may look and say, why do we have 2 different advertising line items, one with no funding? It's getting fixed.
Okay.
So basically, we started out the year, and you cannot really compare it based upon saying, well, we should be 16% of our spending for the year if we're 2 months into the year, because a lot of things get encumbered, and they're covering part of the year, they're covering the whole year. Some things like publications, we're a little high on mags and publications, but some of those are contracts that you sign at the beginning of the year, and Erin, I'm sure back there will say, she pays for things and it's good for 12 months, or sometimes, even right now, we may be paying for things to go into the next fiscal year. I mean, anyway, so the long and short of it is the budget's good, and we're gonna be able to, stick in there for the year, but we obviously gonna need more for next year.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any
Jan-
questions on the budget?
Yeah.
Okay.
Janet, do you have any facilities things you want to tell us? And thank you for joining us.
Well, I'm happy to see everyone. I don't have anything to report. I am sending my husband to the library today.
Okay.
Did you hear me?
Yes?
Yes.
That's all I've got.
Thank you. Any questions for Janet? Okay, Garrett's not here and we don't have his report. Any unfinished business? Any new business?
I wanted to say, I was very pleased. We had the 4th district meeting with Sarah Abu Baker last Wednesday, and the library was well represented. Did a wonderful job, had a very nice table, and it was good. And also, I have never walked so much in my life.
3 hours? Could
On
you
Saturday,
believe that?
We walked for 3 hours with Marvin Hicks.
Sounds like a
community
marathon.
develop- It was me, Susan, and a gentleman, I can't remember his name. And we walked like
My husband.
for 3 hours without stopping. And I thought I knew a lot about Richmond, but
You did know a lot.
Marvin
You
Hicks.
did know a lot.
he knows so much. He needs to write a book. I learned so much, and it was a wonderful tour. If you ever want to know anything about the north of Richmond, that's the person to go to. I mean, I've never heard such a and he knows all about the churches. I mean, the history of them, the transfer of, I mean, stuff like that that I never knew, you know. And it was truly amazing, and kudos to him.
But maybe 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 hours.
All I could do was go home and
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
really one of the nicest things coming out of the Mellon Grant and the Memory Lab and the public knowledge effort is people are learning more about this community and hearing stories that they hadn't heard before.
Right.
And so you're deepening your connection to the city and the community. It's what it's supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
pretty neat.
Yeah.
But happy to hear that. That's awesome. And we're blessed to have such a great team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No question about it. Okay, our next meeting is October 22nd, and it's going to be at the Hull Street branch. And I will see you all then. Meeting is adjourned.